Oh, well, hi. It's good to see you again. Here we are, Clergy on Couches with Coffee. And today we're going to just think about this whole concept of stewardship. You're familiar with the word. It's become one of those cliches, I think, where we use it all the time, or at least every autumn. But perhaps we've lost the meaning of what the word actually is. So that's what we're going to chat about. So, Chris, stewardship.
Yeah, for me, I go back to creation, and
Yeah.
I think about our creation story. I think about how right now we as a people are really hearing the word stewardship as well as being good stewards of the earth and taking care of our lands and our creatures. And that really connects to me when I also think about stewardship in all different levels. There's a sense of responsibility, but there's also a sense of caring. How am I caring for the world? How am I taking care and of the church? How am I making sure that this entity that God has entrusted with us still continues to be something that flows with life? So when I think of stewardship, I really think of, whoa, this is actually a heavy responsibility, but something that I've been entrusted with, as well as it's a way of nurturing. It's a way of continuing to give life to various components of our worlds and of ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, very interesting. Yeah, my mind goes to the Old English origin of the word. Formerly, in centuries ago, it was styward, S-T-Y ward, and it was applied to people who looked after pigs. Keeper of the styward, and they weren't that person's pigs. They were somebody else's pigs. They were just hired to look after them. And it makes me kind of think, well, these are not your pigs. The stuff that kind of appears to be mine, what's parked outside my house, and what I watch, in the living room, all these things, what's written there on some bank statement. These are not your pigs. These are someone else's pigs, and you're just the styward, you're just the steward. And that puts, that's both comforting, because if they're not mine, I guess I can handle them a little more freely and not hold on to them so tightly. So there's some liberation there. But it's also very challenging, isn't it? Because that just turns up on its head the whole of the way our world works.
Yeah. I think just to think about that responsibility of having to care for something that's not even necessarily yours, but there's something that you still have a sense of responsibility to care for and to take care of. Yeah, it's definitely something that is, it can be difficult.
Yeah.
And I kind of think, I'm curious, whether or not there would be multiple stywards for those pigs, because there's something for me to know that I'm not doing it all by myself as well.
Yeah.
And that there's other people who are helping together to care for these pigs, or to care for whatever it is that we're being stewards of.
Yeah. Probably, just thinking, like the church, we have this amazing building that belongs to God. It's God's, but we're the stewards of it. So as a community, we try to maintain an attractive and functioning plant. As a wider community, even as a nation, we have environmental protection laws. There's a community response to being stywards. These seas, these rivers, this forest, they're not yours. You've got to look after them for the person who truly owns them.
What's also beautiful about that is that you're also looking after something that will be the people that follow behind us as well. So it's something that transcends just this moment, but to also think about, when we care about the environment of the children, their children, the next generation of St. Paul's, and how they can continue to live out the mission that has been planted and taken care of for years and years. And how they can continue to build off of that. So as we serve as stewards, it's also beyond what we can even see or imagine of what the fruit of that labor could be.
Yeah, my own experience of this, has, I found this topic very challenging. I remember a time, in fact I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing. I was walking along a street in West London between the railway station and my office, and we just discovered that my wife was pregnant, and of course she would have to take a break from work, and I was actually walking down the street doing the numbers. We were both at the start of our careers, and realizing that if we continued to give to our church the way we had been, we would literally not have enough money to pay the rent, with her losing her job temporarily. And I kind of responded to that by saying, okay then, well, let's just see what happens. And we didn't cut our giving, we maintained it, and somehow we never did need anything in terms of more money. Somehow everything got paid for that we needed for life and for our new child. And that's kind of liberating, isn't it? It's like, it's not actually down to me to earn my stuff. If it's all God's, then God can quite easily move this little piece of resource from here to over here without me, getting bent out of shape about it. It liberates in terms of things like taxes or rising prices. Well, if it's not mine, then why should I get so angry about being taxed? It's not my money. I'm just a steward. It's God's money, and if He's okay with this tax code, then what's the problem that I have? Yeah.
What's interesting about it as well is to think about the how circumstances in our lives change and fluctuate as well. So I remember when I was going off to school, I immediately was thinking, like, how am I going to continue to be able to support the church in the way that I was beforehand? How am I going to continue to support all these various initiatives and things that I considered was a part of my duty, a part of my being able to be a good steward. And yet it shifted a little bit. And I had to think about the perspective in different ways as I was a student of how was I going to be able to give at that time, and then even after, of how was I going to be able to give even more. It also made me think about stewardship of time and commitment, as well as to my financial resources, and later being able to realize that, hey, I have a job now. I'm no longer a student. to be able to think about how that communal piece also was crucial, of where one person's being able to contribute all that they can, that it also calls me, as my life circumstances change, to really think about how I've been blessed and to be able to give based off of where I find myself. So
yeah, great. Great. So it's hard to live that way, though, isn't it? It's hard to live in the knowledge that I don't actually own anything.
Yeah.
When the whole of the world is telling you something else. Yeah. But I think it is the antidote to worry and to anger. All right. Great. Thank you for listening. If you have any comments, if you want to sort of say, oh, well, didn't agree with that, then give us a call, drop us an email, and it'd be lovely to interact with you. So God bless you, and we'll see you soon.